Hey everyone, welcome back to HowTechs. Today we have an iPhone 15 Pro Max and we're going to show you how to use the magnifier, which is a new function on these newer phones. So magnifier actually can be set as an action button, but you can also find the app itself under utilities and it looks like a magnifier. And so what is this thing? I'm sure there's lots of different ways to use it, but it's literally the easiest one is the magnifying lens. So for example, if I am like trying to look at something in really remote or I have bad eyesight, I can basically zoom in using the fact that especially this phone has a 5x camera and then can do digital zoom another 5 times, so I can get like 25 times zoom. So if you're hard of sight or it's dark or you didn't bring your glasses, for example, I actually do that sometimes, it's pretty useful. Just for that, you can turn the light on while you're doing it, so if you're in the dark. So one other really useful thing is you can freeze the image. So I think if you click, it'll do it, or you click the button there and it'll basically won't take a photo, but it'll basically freeze the image. So for example, if you wanted to look under the table or somewhere out of reach, you could just click and then come back and look at it and manipulate it and zoom in and out of this. So yeah, that's actually pretty useful. And then you can even adjust these other options here. Like this is basically filters. So, if you're visually impaired, maybe you can't see blue or green, you can actually kind of invert it or change it to grayscale to see things. So if you're colorblind or hard of sight, or you have some other kind of visual impairment, that could be really useful. Just click here and it goes back to live camera. So just to go back, you just kind of click back on the icon. This is the front-facing camera, rear-facing camera. There's some settings in here where you can basically choose which activities and settings you want to show up. You can do like a multi-photo mode. So I guess in this case, I can take more than one photo. And it actually says these won't be saved to your library. And there's the done button here. So you can view those 3 things and go back and forth. And basically it's just like saves multiple things in a buffer. And when you're done, I guess it drops them. So it doesn't keep them. So again, good for looking around. If you want to actually take photos, use the photo app. The last thing, one other thing is you can actually shrink it here too. But the last thing to talk about is this guy, which is like the detector. So now it can detect text and it'll show it on screen. So basically it says like text iPhone. And if I do something more complicated, it can basically see the whole thing. You have to kind of get it close enough, I guess. But yeah, here I can see now all the text that is detecting. So this is similar to like the Google Translate app, except it's not translating. I don't know if it can do translation, but I can basically now point and speak on. So I don't know if I can do like this.
Hand to close. Hold your finger for EN includes iPhone 15 Pro Max and USB-C chart. Phone scan for more information AU. Hold your finger farther from the camera, lying flat on the iPhone. EN includes Phone 15 Pro Mar 100 hours and EN includes iPhone 15 Pro Max and USB-C charge cable. Power Zocker scan. EN includes hand detected. Hand iPhone. Hold your finger farther from the camera, lying flat on the text. Hand to close. iPhone 15 Pro Max, opt-in Castoria. Hold your finger for access and includes iPhone 15 Pro Max and USB-C charge cables, power adapter and headphones sold separately. 1G8 equals 1.
So I imagine this is useful if you have like a whole, like a big piece of paper and you only want it to read one word. That's one way of doing it. Rather than trying to get super close, you can just point to the part that you want it to be able to read. So let's try this image description. And it says a white circle object on a black surface. That's actually really cool. It might not recognize it as a USB cable, but it's at least figuring something out. Let's see what happens here. A white box with an open lid on a black surface. Not exactly open lid, but it's not too bad. I don't know how to get this to like dynamically update. But yeah, you get the idea. Pretty cool. There's these other options for like door detection and people detection, which I have no idea how that works. I guess it's kind of like you could just look up at the rest of the room that you're in or something like that, but that's a little bit beyond the scope of today's video. So anyway, that's a quick look at the magnifier function here on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I guess it's the same. One key thing to note, I've been doing this just while I've been filming for like 10 minutes. The phone has actually gotten pretty hot, so it's definitely using a lot of computation power and just, tearing through your battery really fast to use that. So just be aware. you might want to take your phone out of the case just to keep it from getting overheated. I've had something similar on the iPhone 14 when I'm like filming things in 4K 60 frames per second. It's really using a lot of computing power. So I guess the magnifier is similar. So it looks pretty simple, but it's actually quite complicated once you start doing like AI recognition and text recognition, etc. So anyway, that's it for today. If you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know down below. Otherwise, catch you next time. Bye. Everyone, welcome back to HowTechs. Today I have a deep purple iPhone 14 Pro. And in today's video, we're going to show you how to insert and remove a physical SIM. So before we start...